Bad Kissingen is a German spa town region of Lower Franconian, district of Bad Kissingen, Bavaria, Germany. It is one of the health resorts, which became famous as a Weltbad in the 19th century. First documented in the year 801 as Shizuka, and above all for its mineral springs, which are recorded as early as 823. At that time, Kissingen was under the domination of Fulda Abbey. Later it fell to the Counts of Henneberg and was sold to the bishops of Würzburg in the 14th century. The town developed to a spa in the 1500s and recorded its first official spa guest in 1520. The town grew to be a fashionable resort in the 19th century, and was extended during the reign of Ludwig I of Bavaria. Crowned heads of state such as Empress Elizabeth of Austria, Tsar Alexander II of Russia and King Ludwig II of Bavaria, who bestowed the Bad on Kissingen in 1883, were among the guests of the spa at this time. Other well-known visitors to the resort included author Leo Tolstoy, composer Gioacchino Rossini and artist Adolf von Menzel. At the end of the 16th century, the medicinal springs gained more and more attention from doctors. Kissingen is considered to be the oldest graduation site in Central Europe. The market square was built in the 13th or 14th century under the Hennebergers during the urban expansion of Kissingen. Together with the upper and lower Marktette Street, it became the center of the local old town. Its rectangular shape, its rows of parcels and the old town hall are characteristic of the Gothic. The beautiful old town hall was built in 1577. An internal is made of wood and originally a gable roof. The houses in Market Square listed as one of the Bad Kissingen architectural monuments. The address number 18 was the birthplace of theologian and historian Ignaz Gropp. The address number 16 was built at the end of the 18th century. The drilled and fascinated window frames date from the Baroque period. Mostly the houses around Market Square was built between 18th and 19th century. At the beginning of the 20th century the Market Square was redesigned. Obery Market Street No. 2 was built in 19th century with decorative framework, on the way to the new town hall. The new town hall was former Lochner Huisleen Castle. The lords of the castle were the noble family of the von Huisleen family. They had the building built in the years 1707. The architect was Johann Dientzenhofer, one of the most important builders of the Franconian Baroque. When the lords of the castle, a long-established Franconian aristocratic family, died out in the male line in 1870, the female line of Messrs. Lochner von Huttenheim took over the castle and sold it to the city. It has been using it as the new town hall since 1929. The Rathausplatz 4 building, former name of the Fuhlboxker Hof, built in the 17th century. Rathausplatz 5, the two-story half-hipped roof building, was originally built as a former central mill. It is said to have housed the municipal bathing room as early as the 16th and 17th centuries. The building is the only one of several mill buildings erected on this site to be preserved. The wall painting on the side of the building facing the Rathausplatz was created by Albert Helm in 1961 and refers to the incorrect designation of the property as the Guild House. Today it houses the Bad Kissingen City Library. The Jacob Classical Church is a Roman Catholic church. She is the St. James the Elder, one of the 12 Apostles, and stands on the Town Hall Square in Bad Kissingen's pedestrian zone. It belongs to the Bad Kissingen Architectural Monuments. The substructure of the church tower was built in the 14th century. The steeple is designed according to the classic features of the Julius Ector Tower. The interior of the two-story structure of the church building corresponds to the vertical arrangement of the ambulatory and gallery. The high altar picture comes from the fresco painter Giuseppe Appiani and represents the martyrdom of Saint James the Elder. The left side altar houses a crucifix, the right a figure of the Mother of God. In the ambulatory on the right side there is a life-size crucifix made in 1775. The organ was built in 1988 by the organ builders Hoffmann. The organ case was created in 1775 by Adam Adolf from Würzburg. There are residential and commercial buildings along the street of Ludwig. Three-story plastered solid buildings with a gable roof, with sandstone structure, in classifying forms, a Baroque Art Nouveau style. Building with bay windows, ornamental gables, and rich Baroque stucco decoration. This house number 14 is a three-story mansard roof building with clinker brick facade, sandstone structure in the form of Baroque Art Nouveau. Ludwig Street number 7 is a three-story, plastered mansard roof building with a central dwelling, flanked by a polygonal core, with sandstone structure, in Baroque Art Nouveau style, by Anton Eckert, 1907. The Grand Villa Messerschmitt was built in the historicist style in 1893 by the Würzburg architect Karl Weinschenk. An elaborate neo-Baroque sandstone structure. The building has Corinthian-style columns on the facade. Around 1800 there were already many other health resorts across Europe with all kinds of healing methods. The aristocratic spa gardens of Bad Kissingen and its buildings in today's sophisticated form emerged from the middle of the 19th century. The arcade structure encloses the spa garden on three sides as a windbreak and shade provider. This has always been nicknamed the Rendezvous Gartline. This is where the fine guests from culture, politics, and the nobility met to stroll. The location of the trees was determined personally by King Ludwig I. His monument is at the center of the facility. Access to the spa garden is only possible with a spa card. In historical times it was also denied to the kissing bourgeoisie. They created then without further ado the Rose Garden. Bavarian kings began noticing Kissingen and its healing springs in the early 19th century. The first spa holiday by the Bavarian king marked Bad Kissingen rise to a world-class spa. Whether for the Bavarian kings, Imperial Chancellor Prince Otto von Bismarck, or Empress Elisabeth II of Austria, from the 1830s, Kissingen was the leading fashionable spa for Europe's nobility and aristocracy. The social and political dimensions of a spa could no longer be overlooked. Later, Bad Kissingen also became popular among the bourgeoisie, as well as among artists, writers, and musicians. Today, its guest lists include such names as Theodore Fontaine, George Bernard Shaw, and Richard Strauss. An elegant Max Brunnen or Max Fountain with the Spring Temple was built in 1911. And is designed in the classicizing Art Nouveau architecture typical of Littmann. It is the oldest drinking source in the town. The Regent building is a two-story solid construction with hipped roof and sandstone. Along sides with pilaster-studded, gabled side projections with terraced buildings in front, the eastern, concave facade with convex vestibule, western facade with double pillars, both with lantern crowns. It is the central landmark of the spa town of Bad Kissingen. The event building, built according to the plans of the Munich architect Max Littmann in the neo-Baroque style, the Max Littmann Saal was designed as a concert and ballroom and is one of the best concert halls in Europe. After Bad Kissingen was taken by the U.S. troops in 1945, they used the Littman Hall as a sports hall for almost 2 years. The Roses Garden is a park and is located in the center of Bad Kissingen along the Franconian Saale. The planning for the Rose Garden intended as the ground floor for the Regent building. After the Bad Kissingen flood in 2003, the Rose Garden was also included in the flood protection system in 2005. The Balthasar-Neumann Promenade runs along the Rose Garden and is part of the Saltworks Promenade that leads to the Lower Saline and the Upper Saline in the Hausen district. It houses several shops, most of which were built around 1900 in Art Nouveau and Historicism styles. The Ludwig Bridge was reconstructed in 1836. The Ludwig Street is named after the Bavarian King Ludwig I. This building, the Ludwig Street No. 19, is a 3-story saddle roof building with bay windows, ornamental gables, and rich Baroque stucco decoration, by Gottfried Bosch in 1901. House No. 20 is a former post office. A mansard roof building with sandstone ashlar cladding and gabled central projection, Baroque style, inscribed 1900. Von Hessing Street 2 was originally built in 1901. Baroque plaster structure with a stucco facade from the Wilhelminian era. The Spa Theatre was built in 1904 by the Munich architect Max Littmann in the Franconian Baroque style and put into operation on June 25, 1905 for the spa season. Sandstone-clad entrance pavilion with a mansard-hipped roof, pilasters, in the form of Baroque Art Nouveau, by Max Littmann, 1904. The property with the name Palace Earthal was built in the second half of the 18th century and was belonged to the noble von Earthal family. 2-story saddle roof building with half-timbered in the Swiss house style, 1856. The Fire Tower, popularly known as the Fire Tower, dates back 14th century. The tower has served as a fire watch tower since 1850. The Heart of Jesus Church is a Roman Catholic church. Is 67 meters high. The construction of the church under the direction of the builder Andreas Lori was based on plans by the Munich architect Karl von Leimbach in the neo-Gothic style. The church is built in the form of an elongated basilica with a single tower facade and a single nave choir and has simplified features of the mature neo-Gothic style. Inside there is the cross-rib vaulted nave and the retracted choir with arched arch profiles. The positive effect of the room characteristics was reinforced by the redesign in the period after the Second World War and supplemented by the glass windows created during this time. The right aisle hides a crescent moon Madonna, which was created around the middle of the 15th century, was originally in the Bad Kissingen Marienkapelle and was then brought to the Herz Jesu Kirche. The beautiful organ was built by the organ builder Schoke. The charming Obery Market Street with residential and commercial buildings was mostly with 2-story, plastered half-hipped roof building, Baroque and built between second half of the 18th and 19th century. This was built in the second half of the 18th century. The roof shape and window frames are late Baroque elements. 2-story hipped roof building over the older core of the 17th century, part of the formerly neighboring Earthaler Hof. On the way to Bismarck Tower passing by the house of sculptor Valentin Weidner. Red sandstone bossed ashlar masonry with grey sandstone structure, as well as a single-story studio extension to the north, Gothicized, by Karl Krampf, 1903. The Bismarck Tower located on the Sinnberg, a hill in the German spa town of Bad Kissingen, started in 1914 following the plans designed by architect Wilhelm Kreis. In favor of Otto Eduard Leopold Bismarck, He formed the German Empire, which also excluded Austria and united Germany. Otto Eduard Leopold Bismarck is the Chancellor of the German Empire. Bismarck's most important legacy is the unification of Germany. Following unification, Germany became one of the most powerful nations in Europe.